I'll never forget the night my world turned upside down. It was a cold winter evening and I was home curled up with a book when the phone rang. My sister Ava was on the other end, her voice frantic and shaky. "Emily," she said barely above a whisper. "I need you to meet me at the bus station. It's important." Ava had always been unpredictable, a free spirit who chased excitement and adventure, often at the expense of responsibility. But this call felt different. There was an urgency in her tone that sent a chill down my spine. "What's going on?" I asked, but she avoided answering. "Please just come," she pleaded. Reluctantly, I grabbed my coat and headed out into the freezing night. When I arrived at the station, I spotted Ava sitting on a bench, cradling a bundle wrapped in a pink blanket. She looked up as I approached, her eyes red and puffy from crying. "Ava, what's going on?" I asked, my concern growing with every passing second. She stood, shifting the bundle into my arms. "Her name is Lily," she said, her voice trembling. "She's yours now." I stared at her, utterly confused. "What are you talking about?" "Ava, this is your baby." She shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I can't do it, Emily. I'm not cut out for this. I'm not ready to be a mother." Panic and anger welled up inside me. "You can't just walk away from your child," I exclaimed. "She needs you, Ava. She needs someone better than me," Ava whispered, her voice barely audible. Before I could respond, Ava picked up her bag and started walking away. I called after her, desperation in my voice. "Ava, wait. You can't just leave her." She stopped briefly, turning to face me. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice breaking. "But I know you'll take good care of her. You always do the right thing." And with that, she disappeared into the night, leaving me standing there with a baby in my arms and a million unanswered questions. The ride home was a blur. Lily slept soundly, oblivious to the chaos unfolding around her. I, on the other hand, couldn't stop shaking. How could Ava do this? How could she abandon her own child? When I got home, I placed Lily in a makeshift crib I'd hastily assembled out of a laundry basket and blankets. I sat beside her, watching her tiny chest rise and fall with each breath. "I don't know how to do this," I whispered. "But I'll figure it out. I promise." The days that followed were overwhelming. Caring for a newborn was a challenge I hadn't prepared for. Sleepless nights, endless diaper changes, and the constant worry about whether I was doing everything right consumed me. I tried calling Ava, but her phone was disconnected. She had vanished without a trace, leaving behind nothing but questions and a baby who depended on me for everything. As the weeks turned into months, I adjusted to my new reality. My life, once filled with freedom and independence, now revolved around bottles, lullabies, and late-night feedings. It wasn't easy. There were moments when I felt completely out of my depth, moments when I resented Ava for what she had done. But then I'd look at Lily, her tiny hands clutching mine, her eyes lighting up when she smiled, and I knew I couldn't let her down. Friends and family offered their support, but their pitying looks made me feel like I was drowning. "You're a saint for taking this on, Emily," they'd say. "Ava should be ashamed of herself." Their words didn't bring comfort. If anything, they reminded me of the weight I was carrying, the responsibility of raising a child who wasn't mine, a child whose mother had walked away without looking back. One evening, as I rocked Lily to sleep, I found myself wondering what kind of life she would have had if Ava had stayed. Would she have been loved? Would she have been safe? Those thoughts were quickly replaced by a resolve I hadn't felt before. Ava might have abandoned her, but I wouldn't. I would be the mother Lily needed, even if it meant sacrificing my own dreams and plans. Adjusting to life with Lily was like being thrown into a whirlwind and somehow learning to dance in the chaos. My once structured, predictable routine was replaced with a schedule dictated by feedings, diaper changes, and the relentless cries of a newborn who couldn't tell me what she needed. At first, I stumbled through the days in a haze of exhaustion. Sleep became a luxury I couldn't afford, and my once tidy apartment turned into a battlefield of baby bottles, laundry piles, and toys scattered across every surface. The nights were the hardest. Lily would wake up crying every couple of hours, and I'd shuffle to her crib half asleep to soothe her back to sleep. Sometimes I'd find myself crying along with her, overwhelmed by the responsibility and loneliness. I learned as I went, relying on instinct, parenting books, and the advice of well-meaning friends. Clara, my best friend and unwavering cheerleader, became my lifeline. "You're doing great, Em," she'd say, stopping by with groceries and an encouraging smile. "You've got this." Some days her confidence in me felt misplaced. I didn't feel like I had anything under control, but I kept going because Lily needed me. My job, once a source of pride and fulfillment, became another challenge to navigate. I worked remotely, sneaking in emails and deadlines during Lily's naps or when Clara offered to babysit. My coworkers were understanding, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was constantly falling short. One afternoon, during a video meeting, Lily began wailing in the background. I scrambled to mute my microphone, apologizing profusely to my team. "Don't worry about it," my manager said with a kind smile. "We've all been there. You're doing an amazing job." Their support helped, but I still felt the weight of balancing it all. Over time, I developed a rhythm, a delicate balance that kept the chaos from completely overwhelming me. I learned to celebrate the small victories, like getting Lily to sleep through the night or successfully preparing dinner without burning it. Lily, for her part, seemed to thrive. She was a curious, lively baby with an infectious laugh that could brighten even the darkest days. Watching her grow and discover the world made all the sleepless nights and sacrifices feel worth it. There were moments, though, when I struggled with resentment. Ava's absence loomed like a shadow over my life. She had left without so much as a note, leaving me to pick up the pieces of her choices. "Do you ever hear from her?" Clara asked one evening as we sipped tea on the couch. I shook my head. "It's like she disappeared off the face of the earth." Part of me wants to track her down and demand answers, but another part of me, I'm afraid of what she might say. Clara reached over, squeezing my hand. "You're stronger than you think, Em. Lily is lucky to have you." As Lily grew, I found myself adapting to my new reality. I traded nights out with friends for bedtime stories and lullabies, weekend trips for park visits and playdates. My priorities shifted, and while I missed certain aspects of my old life, I couldn't imagine a future without Lily in it. Friends began to joke that I had become a supermom, a title that felt both flattering and daunting. I didn't feel like a superhero. I felt like a woman doing her best to navigate an impossible situation. One day, as I watched Lily take her first unsteady steps across the living room, I realized how far we had come. She had gone from a helpless infant to a determined toddler, and I had grown with her. It wasn't easy, but it was ours. A life shaped by unexpected challenges and an unbreakable bond. The questions about Ava never disappeared, though. Every time Lily asked about her mother, my heart broke a little. "Where is she?" Lily would ask, her wide eyes filled with curiosity. "She's somewhere far away," I'd reply gently, not knowing how else to answer. "But you have me, and I'll always be here for you." Those moments reminded me of the complexities of our situation, but they also strengthened my resolve. Ava might have left, but I had chosen to stay to fight for a life where Lily could thrive. Little did I know the stability we had built would soon be tested in ways I couldn't imagine. As the years passed, the bond between Lily and me grew into something more profound than I ever imagined. She wasn't just my niece, she was my daughter in every sense that mattered. The sacrifices I had made no longer felt like sacrifices. They felt like choices born of love. Lily was a spirited, curious child with a laugh that could light up any room. She had a knack for turning even the most mundane tasks into adventures. Grocery shopping became a treasure hunt, with Lily pretending the cart was her pirate ship. Cleaning the apartment turned into a dance party, her tiny feet stomping to the beat of our favorite songs. She brought joy to my life in ways I never expected, and watching her grow felt like witnessing a miracle unfold before my eyes. Every milestone was a victory, a testament to our journey together. Her first words, "Mama," brought tears to my eyes. It wasn't the title I had expected to hold, but it felt right, like a name I had earned through sleepless nights and unconditional love. I remember her first day of preschool vividly. She clung to my leg, her big eyes wide with fear as we approached the colorful classroom. "I'm scared, Mama," she whispered. I knelt down to her level, brushing a strand of her hair behind her ear. "It's okay to be scared, sweetheart," I said, my voice steady. "But you're brave, and I'll be here waiting for you when the day is over." Her tiny arms wrapped around my neck, and I held her close, whispering words of encouragement until she finally let go and stepped into the classroom. Over time, Lily began to ask more questions about her mother. At first, they were simple and innocent. "Did my mommy like dinosaurs too?" she asked one evening as we read her favorite book about prehistoric creatures. She did, I replied, my voice soft. She used to pretend she was a T-Rex when we were kids. But as Lily grew older, her questions became more pointed, her curiosity more intense. Why isn't she here, Mama? Doesn't she love me? Her words cut deep and I struggled to find the right answers. Your mommy loved you very much, I said carefully. But sometimes grown-ups make choices that are hard to understand. What matters is that you're loved and I'll always be here for you. Our bond deepened during those conversations, as Lily began to understand that while her mother wasn't present, she had a family who adored her. Clara became like an aunt to her, showering her with affection and reminding her that she was never alone. Your mama is amazing, Clara would say, ruffling Lily's hair. She's a superhero in disguise. Lily would giggle, her eyes lighting up. Mama doesn't wear a cape though. I'd laugh along with them, my heart full of gratitude for the love and support that surrounded us. As Lily entered her teenage years, our relationship evolved. She became more independent, but our bond remained unshakable. We shared late-night talks about her dreams, her fears, and the challenges of growing up. Do you think I'll be a good artist someday, Mama? She asked one evening, showing me a sketch she had been working on. You already are, I said, marveling at her talent. But if you keep practicing, you'll be even better. Her smile was a reflection of the confidence I had worked so hard to instill in her. A confidence born of love and encouragement. I was proud of the person Lily was becoming, kind, compassionate, and fiercely determined. She excelled in school, made friends easily, and pursued her passions with unwavering enthusiasm. But no matter how strong our bond was, there was always an undercurrent of uncertainty. A shadow of Ava's absence that lingered in the background. One evening, as we sat on the couch watching an old movie, Lily turned to me, her expression serious. Mama, do you think I'll ever meet her? She asked. Her question caught me off guard and I took a moment to compose myself. I don't know, sweetheart, I admitted. But if that day ever comes, I'll be here to help you through it. Lily nodded, resting her head on my shoulder. I don't know if I want to meet her, she said softly. But I'm glad I have you. Her words brought tears to my eyes and I held her close, silently vowing to protect the life we had built together, no matter what the future held. Little did I know, the future would soon bring challenges I wasn't prepared for. Raising Lily through her teenage years brought a new set of challenges, ones I hadn't anticipated. The once carefree little girl was now navigating the turbulent waters of adolescence. And with that came new responsibilities, new worries, and new dynamics in our relationship. Lily was a bright, creative teenager, but she also had a streak of independence that sometimes led to conflict. She wanted to explore the world on her terms, but I couldn't help being protective. The balance between giving her freedom and ensuring her safety was a constant struggle. Why can't I go to the party? She asked one evening, her arms crossed and her eyes filled with frustration. Because I don't know the parents hosting it, I said firmly. And it's a school night. But all my friends are going. Lily, I'm not trying to ruin your fun, I said, softening my tone. I just want to make sure you're safe. These moments of tension were hard, but they were balanced by moments of connection. Lily often shared her dreams with me, her aspirations to study art, her fascination with different cultures, and her excitement about the future. One evening, as we sat at the kitchen table, she showed me a portfolio she had been working on for months. This is amazing, Lily, I said, flipping through the pages. Your talent is incredible. She beamed, her cheeks flushing with pride. Do you really think I could go to art school? I don't think it, I know it, I said. You can do anything you set your mind to. Financially, raising a teenager on my own was no small feat. Between school supplies, extracurricular activities, and everyday expenses, I often found myself stretching every dollar. I took on freelance work in addition to my full-time job, working late into the night after Lily had gone to bed. Clara remained my rock, stepping in to help whenever she could. You're doing an incredible job, Em, she said one evening as she helped me prepare dinner. Lily's lucky to have you. I just want to give her the best life possible, I said, exhaustion evident in my voice. And you are, Clara replied. Don't ever doubt that. Despite the challenges, Lily and I maintained a bond that felt unbreakable. We had a tradition of Friday movie nights, complete with popcorn and hot chocolate. No matter how busy or stressed we were, we always made time for each other. During one of these nights, as we watched a classic film, Lily turned to me and said, I know I give you a hard time sometimes, but I want you to know how much I appreciate you." Her words brought tears to my eyes and I pulled her into a hug. "I love you, Lily. More than anything." But even with our strong connection, the shadow of Ava's absence remained. Lily's curiosity about her mother grew as she got older, and her questions became harder to answer. "Why did she leave, Mama?" she asked one evening as we folded laundry together. I paused, unsure of how much to share. "I think she felt overwhelmed," I said carefully. "She made a choice that I'll never fully understand, but it wasn't about you. It was about her." Lily nodded, her brow furrowed in thought. "Do you think she'll ever come back?" "I don't know," I admitted. "But if she does, we'll face it together." As Lily approached her final years of high school, I found myself reflecting on how much she had grown. She was no longer the little girl who clung to my leg on her first day of school. She was a confident, intelligent young woman with a bright future ahead of her. One day, as we walked through an art gallery showcasing student work, Lily pointed to a painting she admired. "I want to create something like that one day," she said, her eyes shining with determination. "You will," I said, my voice filled with certainty. Even as I celebrated her achievements, a part of me couldn't help but worry about the challenges she might face. Adolescence had its ups and downs, and I wanted to shield her from the world's hardships while also giving her the tools to navigate them on her own. Through every challenge, I reminded myself that our bond was strong enough to weather anything. But the test that was about to come would push us both in ways I hadn't anticipated. Lily's teenage years were a whirlwind of milestones, each one a reminder of how far we had come together. From her academic achievements to her artistic triumphs, I watched her grow into a remarkable young woman. But along with the pride I felt came the bittersweet realization that she was no longer the little girl who had clung to my hand for guidance. Her first major milestone came in her sophomore year of high school when she was accepted into an advanced art program. It was a competitive process, and I'll never forget the look of sheer joy on her face when she opened the acceptance letter. "I did it, Mama," she exclaimed, waving the letter in the air. I pulled her into a tight hug, tears streaming down my face. "I'm so proud of you, Lily. You've worked so hard for this." Her acceptance into the program was a turning point. She began spending hours in her room, sketching and painting, her passion for art growing with each passing day. One evening, as I helped her prepare for an art showcase, she hesitated, her confidence faltering. "What if no one likes my work?" she asked, her voice tinged with doubt. "Lily," I said, placing a hand on her shoulder, "art isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about expressing yourself. And your work is beautiful because it's a reflection of who you are." Her smile returned and she hugged me tightly. "Thanks, Mama. I don't know what I'd do without you." Another milestone came when she got her driver's license. The thought of her behind the wheel filled me with equal parts pride and anxiety. "Are you sure you don't want me to drive you to school?" I asked nervously as she jingled her new set of keys. "Mama, I've got this," she said, rolling her eyes but smiling. "You taught me everything I need to know." Watching her pull out of the driveway that morning felt like a rite of passage for both of us, a symbol of her growing independence and my need to trust her as she spread her wings. As her senior year approached, college applications became the focus of our lives. Lily dreamed of attending a prestigious art school in the city, and I was determined to help her get there, even if it meant tightening our already stretched budget. One evening, as we sat at the dining table poring over scholarship applications, she reached over and squeezed my hand. "I know this isn't easy, Mama," she said softly. "Thank you for believing in me." "You're worth every bit of it, Lily," I replied, my heart swelling with pride. When the acceptance letter from her dream school arrived, we both screamed in delight, tears streaming down our faces. "I can't believe it," she said, clutching the letter to her chest. "I'm actually going to art school." "You've earned this, sweetheart," I said, pulling her into a hug. "I always knew you could do it." Amidst the milestones, there were moments of reflection that reminded me of the bond we had built. One evening, as we sorted through old photos, Lily picked up a picture of us from her first day of preschool. "You've always been there for me, Mama," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "I don't know what I'd do without you." Her words brought tears to my eyes. "And I always will be," I said, my voice steady despite the lump in my throat. But even as we celebrated her achievements, there were lingering questions about her mother. "Do you think she'd be proud of me?" Lily asked one night, her voice quiet. I hesitated, unsure of how to answer. I think she'd be amazed by the person you've become, I said carefully. And I know I'm proud of you every single day. Lily nodded, her expression thoughtful. You're the only mom I need, she said, her words wrapping around my heart like a warm embrace. As her high school graduation approached, I found myself torn between pride and the bittersweet realization that my little girl was growing up. During her graduation ceremony, as Lily walked across the stage to receive her diploma, I couldn't hold back my tears. She had worked so hard, overcome so much, and achieved what once felt impossible. She's amazing, Clara whispered, sitting beside me. She really is, I replied, my voice filled with emotion. The milestones we had shared were more than just achievements. They were the foundation of a life built on love, resilience, and an unbreakable bond. But just as we were preparing to embark on this new chapter, an unexpected event would bring our world crashing down. Despite the challenges, Lily and I had created a life filled with love and stability. Our small family, just the two of us, felt complete in its own way. We didn't need anyone else, or so I thought. But life has a way of surprising you even when you feel like everything is settled. Clara, my ever-reliable best friend, had become an honorary family member over the years. She was there for every scraped knee, every school project, and every milestone Lily reached. She called herself Aunt Clara, and Lily adored her. I think Clara spoils you more than I do, I teased one evening after Clara brought Lily yet another art supply kit. She's just supporting my future career, Mama, Lily said with a cheeky grin. Clara laughed. Exactly. Someone has to keep the next Picasso inspired. Our family dynamic felt strong, but it wasn't without its gaps. Every so often, Lily would bring up her mother, her questions tinged with curiosity rather than longing. Do you think she misses me? She asked one evening as we folded laundry together. I hesitated, unsure of how to respond. I don't know, sweetheart, I said honestly. But what I do know is that you're loved right here, right now. Her smile was small but genuine. I know, Mama. And I love you too. Lily's bond with Clara was a source of comfort for both of us. Clara became a constant presence in our lives, helping me navigate the ups and downs of motherhood while being a confidant for Lily as she entered her teenage years. One evening as we shared dinner, Clara turned to me with a mischievous smile. You know, Em, you've done an amazing job raising Lily. But when are you going to let someone take care of you? I rolled my eyes, laughing. I'm fine, Clara. Besides, I have you and Lily. That's all I need. Sure, she said, her tone teasing. But don't close yourself off to the idea. You deserve happiness too. Clara's words lingered with me, though I brushed them off at the time. I had poured so much of myself into raising Lily that I hadn't given much thought to my own happiness. But as Lily grew more independent, I began to wonder if there was room in my life for something, or someone, more. That's when I met James. James was a kind, thoughtful man I met through a community event at the local library. He was soft-spoken but quick-witted, with a warm smile that made people feel at ease. We struck up a conversation over coffee, and before I knew it, we were exchanging phone numbers. At first, I was hesitant. Dating felt like a foreign concept after so many years of focusing solely on Lily. But Clara encouraged me to take the leap. You deserve this, Em, she said. And if he's the right guy, he'll understand that Lily is your world. When I introduced James to Lily, I was nervous. Their first meeting was at the cafe, a casual setting meant to ease the transition. Lily was polite but cautious, her protective instincts kicking in. So you're the guy Mama's been talking about, she said, raising an eyebrow. James smiled warmly. Guilty as charged. It's nice to finally meet you, Lily. Your mom talks about you all the time. Over time, Lily warmed up to James. He made an effort to get to know her, attending her art showcases and even helping her with a particularly challenging school project. He's not so bad, Lily admitted one evening, a small smile playing on her lips. James became a part of our lives in a way that felt natural and unforced. He respected the bond Lily and I shared, never trying to overstep but always offering his support. One evening, as we all sat around the dinner table, James said something that struck a chord. You two are an incredible team, he said, his voice filled with admiration. It's an honor to be a part of your family. His words brought tears to my eyes. For so long, it had just been Lily and me navigating life together. But now it felt like our family was growing in a way I hadn't anticipated. As my relationship with James deepened, so did Lily's acceptance of him. She began to see him as more than just Mama's boyfriend. He was a trusted friend and a source of stability. Our little family felt whole in a way I hadn't thought possible. But just as we were finding our rhythm, the unexpected happened. Ava returned, bringing with her a wave of emotions I wasn't prepared to face. It was an ordinary Sunday morning when the doorbell rang, echoing through the apartment. Lily was in her room sketching and I was in the kitchen preparing breakfast. Wiping my hands on a dish towel, I opened the door, expecting a delivery or Clara stopping by unannounced. Instead, I found Ava standing there. My heart stopped. She looked almost the same as she had all those years ago. Her auburn hair was still wavy, though streaked with gray, and her face carried the same sharp features I remembered. But her eyes, they held something different now. Guilt. Regret. Emily, she said, her voice tentative. Can I come in? I stood frozen for a moment, my mind racing. 15 years. 15 years of silence, of raising her daughter, of wondering where she had gone and why she had left. And now she was here, standing on my doorstep like no time had passed. What do you want, Ava? I asked, my tone sharper than I intended. I want to talk, she said, her voice trembling. Please. Reluctantly, I stepped aside to let her in. Ava looked around the apartment, her gaze lingering on the family photos displayed on the walls. Pictures of Lily at every stage of her life, none of which Ava had been a part of. Nice place, she said, her attempt at small talk falling flat. I folded my arms, standing in the living room and refusing to make her feel comfortable. Why are you here, Ava? She hesitated, biting her lip. I want to see Lily. Her words felt like a punch to the gut. You want to see her? I repeated, my voice rising. After 15 years? After abandoning her without so much as a goodbye? Ava flinched but held her ground. I know I don't deserve to ask, she said. But I've changed, Emily. I'm not the same person I was back then. I just want a chance to be a part of her life. Before I could respond, Lily emerged from her room, her curiosity piqued by the raised voices. Mama, who's at the door? She called out, stopping short when she saw Ava. Her brow furrowed as she looked between us, confusion evident on her face. Who's this? Ava's eyes filled with tears as she stepped forward. Lily, it's me. I'm your mother. Lily froze, her sketchbook falling from her hands. What? She whispered, her voice barely audible. The room fell silent, the weight of Ava's words hanging heavy in the air. I stepped forward, placing a protective hand on Lily's shoulder. She's your biological mother, I said carefully, my heart breaking at the expression on Lily's face. Lily looked at Ava, then back at me. You're the one who left, she said, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and disbelief. I know, Ava said, her voice thick with emotion. And I'm so sorry. I made a terrible mistake, but I want to make things right. Lily's expression hardened. You want to make things right now? After all this time? Do you have any idea what you put us through? Ava's tears spilled over, but Lily wasn't done. You don't get to walk back into my life like nothing happened. You don't get to decide when you're ready to be my mom. Her words were raw and powerful, and I felt a surge of pride at her strength. Ava turned to me, desperation in her eyes. Emily, please, she said. Help me. I just want a chance to explain. I shook my head, my own emotions threatening to overwhelm me. You don't get to ask for favors, Ava. You walked away. I've been the one raising her, loving her, being there for her. You don't just get to show up and demand to be a part of her life. Ava stayed for a while, pleading her case, but the damage was done. Lily refused to speak to her further, retreating to her room and slamming the door. Ava left shortly after, promising to come back and try again. As the door closed behind her, I sat down on the couch, my head in my hands. The peace we had built was now disrupted, and I had no idea how to navigate the storm Ava had brought with her return. That evening, I knocked on Lily's door and found her sitting on her bed, hugging her knees. I'm sorry you had to go through that, I said softly, sitting beside her. Lily looked at me, her eyes red from crying. She's not my mom, she said firmly. You are. Tears filled my eyes as I pulled her into a hug. I love you, Lily, I said, my voice breaking. And no matter what happens, I'm here for you. But deep down, I knew this was just the beginning of a complicated and painful chapter. In the days following Ava's unexpected return, the atmosphere in our home was tense. Lily, normally so full of life, was quiet and withdrawn. She spent hours in her room, barely speaking unless I initiated the conversation. I knew she was grappling with questions and emotions that even I couldn't fully understand. One evening, I knocked on her door and found her sitting cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by her sketchbooks. Her pencil moved absent-mindedly across the page, but her usual enthusiasm for drawing was missing. "Can I sit with you?" I asked gently. She nodded and I settled beside her, watching as she sketched a figure that looked suspiciously like Ava. "Do you want to talk about it?" I asked after a moment. Lily hesitated, her pencil hovering over the paper. "I don't know what to think, Mama," she admitted, her voice small. "I've spent my whole life wondering about her, and now that she's here, I just feel angry and confused." I reached over, placing a hand on her knee. "It's okay to feel that way, sweetheart. There's no right or wrong way to process this. What she did, it wasn't fair to you." "She said she's sorry," Lily said, her tone uncertain. "Do you think she means it?" I sighed, struggling to find the right words. "Maybe she does," I said honestly. "But being sorry doesn't erase what happened. It's up to you to decide how much space you want to give her in your life, if any." Over the next few weeks, Ava made several attempts to reconnect with Lily. She sent messages, left voicemails, and even dropped off a handwritten letter. Each time Lily would hand them to me, her expression unreadable. "What do you want me to do with these?" I asked one evening as she handed me another envelope. "I don't know," she said, shrugging. "I don't know if I even want to read them." Clara, ever the voice of reason, offered her perspective during one of our late-night talks. "Lily's caught in the middle of a storm she didn't create," she said. "She needs time to process. But she also needs to feel like she's in control of the situation." I nodded, taking her words to heart. "I just don't want Ava to hurt her again," I said, my voice heavy with worry. "You can't protect her from everything, Em," Clara replied gently. "But you can be there for her no matter what she decides." Eventually, Lily decided she wanted to meet with Ava, not because she was ready to forgive her but because she wanted answers. She wanted to understand why her mother had left, why she had stayed away for so long, and why she had chosen now to return. The meeting took place at a neutral location, a quiet cafe downtown. I offered to go with Lily for support, but she insisted on going alone. "I need to do this by myself, Mama," she said, her voice firm. "Okay," I said, trying to mask my worry. "But if you need me, I'm just a phone call away." The hour she was gone felt like an eternity. I paced the living room, checking my phone every few minutes, my mind racing with worst-case scenarios. When Lily finally came home, her expression was unreadable. "How did it go?" I asked carefully. She shrugged, dropping her bag by the door. "It was intense," she said. "She told me why she left." "What did she say?" "She said she was scared," Lily replied, her voice tinged with bitterness. "She felt like she couldn't handle being a mom, so she ran. And then she said she stayed away because she thought I'd be better off without her." My heart ached for Lily as she recounted the conversation. "How do you feel about that?" I asked. "I don't know," she admitted. "Part of me feels sorry for her. But another part of me, I don't think I can forgive her. Not yet." "That's okay," I said, pulling her into a hug. "You don't have to forgive her if you're not ready. Take all the time you need." Over the next few weeks, Lily continued to grapple with her emotions. She met with Ava a few more times, each meeting leaving her with more questions than answers. "She says she wants to be a part of my life," Lily said one evening as we sat on the couch. "But I don't know if I want that. What if she leaves again?" "I can't promise you that she won't," I said honestly. "But I can promise you this, you'll always have me no matter what." The uncertainty weighed heavily on both of us, but I knew that Lily needed to make her own decisions about Ava. All I could do was support her, even as I struggled with my own feelings about my sister's return. As Lily continued to navigate her conflicted feelings about Ava, I began to feel a growing sense of unease. Ava's intentions seemed genuine on the surface, but there was an underlying tension in her repeated insistence on being a part of Lily's life. The peace we had built over the years now felt fragile, as though it could shatter at any moment. One afternoon, my fears were realized when I received a notice in the mail, a legal document stating that Ava was seeking custody of Lily. My hands shook as I read the words, disbelief and anger coursing through me. "She can't do this," I said aloud, clutching the paper tightly. Clara, who was with me at the time, looked equally stunned. "She has some nerve," she said, her tone laced with indignation. After everything, she thinks she can just swoop in and take Lily away? I nodded, my jaw clenched. She abandoned her. I raised her. She's my daughter, not Ava's. The legal battle that followed was one of the most emotionally draining experiences of my life. Ava's lawyer painted a picture of a woman who had made mistakes but was now ready to reclaim her role as a mother. My lawyer countered with the undeniable fact that I had been the one to provide Lily with a stable, loving home for 15 years. The courtroom became a battlefield where every detail of our lives was scrutinized. Ava's lawyer argued that she had changed, that she deserved a second chance. My lawyer emphasized the emotional harm her abandonment had caused and the bond Lily and I had formed in her absence. Lily was caught in the middle, her voice both powerful and heartbreaking. She was called to testify, a moment I had desperately wanted to shield her from. I love my mom, Lily said, her voice steady despite the tears in her eyes. And when I say mom, I mean the woman who's been there for me every day of my life. The one who stayed. That's who I want to live with. Her words brought tears to my eyes, but they also broke my heart for her. No child should have to choose between two people claiming to love her. The emotional toll of the custody battle spilled into every corner of our lives. I tried to maintain a sense of normalcy for Lily, but the strain was evident. One evening as we sat on the couch, she leaned her head against my shoulder. I hate this, Mama, she said softly. I just want it to be over. I know, sweetheart, I said, wrapping my arms around her. We'll get through this. Together. As the case dragged on, old wounds were reopened and long-buried truths came to light. Ava revealed that her decision to leave wasn't just out of fear. There had been other factors at play, including a toxic relationship and financial struggles she hadn't shared with anyone. Her admission added a layer of complexity to the situation. While it didn't excuse her actions, it painted a fuller picture of the pain and fear she had been dealing with. I didn't leave because I didn't love her, Ava said in court one day, her voice trembling. I left because I thought I was protecting her from the chaos in my life. The judge ultimately decided that Lily's wishes carried significant weight, given her age and maturity. Ava was granted visitation rights, but custody remained with me. The decision brought a sense of relief, but it was bittersweet. I'm glad I get to stay with you, Mama, Lily said after the ruling. But I'm still so confused about everything. It's okay to feel that way, I said gently. This isn't an easy situation for anyone, but you're handling it with so much strength. I'm proud of you. The custody battle marked a turning point in our relationship with Ava. While she remained a part of Lily's life, the boundaries were clear. I was Lily's mother in every way that mattered, and Ava had to earn her place through trust and consistency. The emotional scars from the legal battle would take time to heal, but they also brought a sense of clarity. Lily and I emerged from the experience stronger than ever, our bond unshaken by the challenges we had faced. But as we began to rebuild, new revelations would come to light, forcing us to confront the past in ways we hadn't anticipated. The custody battle had left its mark, but life was slowly returning to normal, or at least what passed for normal in our home. Lily and I found comfort in our routine, though Ava's visits loomed like a shadow over our peace. Then one day, everything changed with a revelation that shook the foundations of what we thought we knew. It started with a box Ava brought during one of her visits. She handed it to Lily with a hesitant smile. I thought you might want this, she said. Lily glanced at me before carefully opening the lid. Inside were old photographs, letters, and trinkets from Ava's past, a treasure trove of memories she had kept hidden for years. These are from before I left, Ava explained, her voice tinged with regret. I wanted you to have them. Lily and I spent the evening sifting through the box together. There were pictures of Ava as a teenager, her arms wrapped around a much younger version of me. Letters Ava had written but never sent. And then, tucked beneath everything else, we found a faded journal. Lily opened it carefully, her eyes scanning the pages. It's her diary, she said, glancing up at me. I nodded, unsure of what to say. Part of me wanted to shield Lily from whatever secrets the diary might hold, but another part of me knew she deserved to understand Ava's story. Over the next few days, Lily and I read the diary together. It painted a picture of a woman who had been drowning in fear and insecurity, trapped in a cycle of bad decisions and toxic relationships. She was struggling so much, Lily said one evening, her voice filled with sadness. I agreed. But that doesn't mean her choices didn't hurt you. It's okay to feel conflicted about this. One entry in particular stood out. It was dated just weeks before Ava left, and it revealed a truth I hadn't been prepared for. Ava had tried to leave Lily with her biological father before turning to me. The revelation hit me like a punch to the gut. She never told me about this, I said, my voice trembling. Do you think he's still around? Lily asked, her brow furrowed. I don't know, I admitted. But if he is, he's had 15 years to come forward, and he hasn't. The discovery ignited a wave of emotions in both of us. For Lily, it added another layer of complexity to her feelings about Ava. For me, it brought a surge of anger and betrayal. Ava had kept so much from us, and now those secrets were threatening to unravel everything. I confronted Ava during her next visit, holding the diary in my hands. Why didn't you tell me about this? I demanded, my voice shaking. Ava's face paled. I didn't think it mattered, she said softly. He didn't want to be involved, so I didn't see the point in bringing it up. Her words only fueled my anger. It mattered, Ava, I said firmly. It mattered because it's Lily's life. She has a right to know where she comes from. I didn't know what to do, Ava admitted, tears streaming down her face. I was scared and overwhelmed. I thought you could give her a better life, and you did. I'm sorry, Emily. I truly am. Her apology didn't erase the pain, but it was clear that she was carrying her own burden of guilt. Lily, who had been listening from the doorway, stepped into the room. I don't know if I can forgive you, she said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. But I think I understand you a little better now. Ava nodded, her tears falling freely. That's all I can ask for, she said. The truth about Lily's father lingered between us, unresolved but ever-present. Lily decided she didn't want to pursue it for now. You're my family, Mama, she said. That's all that matters to me. Her words brought a sense of comfort, but I knew the questions about her father might resurface one day. For now, we focused on healing and moving forward one step at a time. As the dust began to settle, I realized that the revelations, painful as they were, had brought us closer in some ways. They reminded us of the strength we had found in each other, the love that had carried us through even the darkest moments. But the journey wasn't over yet. There were still decisions to be made, and Lily was about to take control of her narrative in a way that would change everything. Lily's journey of self-discovery had been a winding road, filled with emotional twists and turns. But after months of grappling with the truth about Ava, her father, and her own identity, she reached a point where she knew she had to take control of her story. One evening, as we sat at the kitchen table, Lily looked at me with a determined expression. Mama, I've been thinking, she began. I don't want to keep living in this in-between space. I need to make a decision about Ava, and about everything. I set down my cup of tea, giving her my full attention. What kind of decision? I asked gently. I want to talk to her, Lily said. Not just small talk or surface-level stuff. I want to lay everything out, the anger, the questions, everything. I need closure. I nodded, proud of her bravery. I think that's a good idea, I said. But only if you feel ready. This is your choice, Lily, and no one else's. I am ready, she said firmly. The next day, Lily called Ava and arranged to meet her at a nearby park. She insisted on going alone, and though it took everything in me to let her go, I knew this was something she needed to do on her own. The hours dragged as I waited for her return. When she finally walked through the door, her face was a mix of exhaustion and relief. How did it go? I asked carefully. It was intense, she said, sitting down at the table. I told her everything, how angry I was, how hurt I've been, how hard it's been to figure out where she fits in my life. And what did she say? She listened, Lily said, her voice soft. She cried a lot and she apologized, again. But what struck me the most was how honest she was. She admitted she doesn't have all the answers and that she's still trying to figure herself out. Her words lingered, and I could see the weight of the conversation etched on her face. How do you feel about it all now? I asked. I think I'm ready to let go of some of the anger, she said. Not because what she did was okay, but because I don't want it to control me anymore. Her maturity astounded me, and I reached across the table to take her hand. I'm so proud of you, Lily, I said, my voice thick with emotion. In the weeks that followed, Lily and Ava began rebuilding their relationship, slowly and cautiously. They started with small steps, short visits, phone calls, and text messages. It wasn't easy and there were moments of tension, but they both seemed committed to trying. One day, after a particularly long visit with Ava, Lily came home and said something that stayed with me. "She'll never be the mom you are," she said, her voice steady. "But I think I can find a place for her in my life without it taking away from what we have." Her words were a testament to her resilience and her ability to find balance in a situation that had once felt impossible. Lily wasn't choosing between Ava and me, she was carving out a space for both of us in her heart. As her senior year of high school came to an end, Lily made another decision that reflected her growth. She decided to include Ava in her graduation celebration. "She missed so much of my life," Lily said. "But I want her to see this. I want her to see how far I've come." The graduation day was a mix of emotions. Ava and I exchanged polite but cautious words, our interactions still tinged with the tension of the past. But for Lily's sake, we put our differences aside. As she walked across the stage to receive her diploma, I felt an overwhelming sense of pride. She had faced so many challenges, but she had come out stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Clara leaned over, whispering, "She's amazing, You've done an incredible job." Tears filled my eyes as I nodded. "She is. And she's only just beginning." After the ceremony, we gathered for a small celebration at the cafe. Ava joined us, her presence tentative but appreciated. Lily made a toast, her words both heartfelt and hopeful. "I want to thank everyone who's been there for me," she said, her gaze sweeping over the room. "Especially my mom. You've always believed in me even when I doubted myself. I wouldn't be here without you." Her eyes flicked to Ava and she added, "And I want to thank you for coming back. It's not easy, but I think we're heading in the right direction." Her words brought tears to both Ava's and my eyes. It wasn't a perfect resolution, but it was a start, a chance to move forward without forgetting the past. Life after Lily's graduation felt like stepping into a new chapter, one filled with both hope and a lingering sense of reflection. As she prepared to leave for college, our home buzzed with excitement and a bittersweet sense of change. Packing boxes became a daily ritual. Her room, once a haven of sketches, art supplies, and youthful chaos, was slowly being transformed into neatly labeled boxes of memories. "Mama, do you think I'll be okay on my own?" Lily asked one evening as we folded clothes together. "You've been ready for this for a long time," I said, smiling at her. "You're strong, capable, and more resilient than most people I know. But no matter where you are, you'll always have a home here." Her smile was soft and she leaned her head on my shoulder. "I'll miss you. I'll miss you too, sweetheart," I said, my voice tinged with emotion. Ava, too, had become a more consistent presence in Lily's life. While their relationship was still a work in progress, they were slowly building a foundation of trust. Ava even offered to help with Lily's college preparations, an effort I recognized as her way of making amends. During one visit, Ava pulled me aside. "Thank you for everything you've done for her, Emily," she said, her voice filled with genuine gratitude. "I'll never be able to repay you." "It wasn't about repayment," I replied. "It was about doing what she needed. But if you want to be a part of her life now, you need to show her through your actions." "I will," Ava promised. The day Lily left for college was both heart-wrenching and proud. Clara joined us for the trip, her laughter and positivity keeping the mood light. Ava followed behind in her car, a silent but meaningful gesture of her commitment to Lily's journey. As we unpacked her dorm room, I couldn't help but marvel at how far Lily had come. She was no longer the little girl I had rocked to sleep or the teenager navigating her first heartbreak. She was a young woman standing on the precipice of her dreams. When it was time to say goodbye, I hugged her tightly, not wanting to let go. "You're going to do amazing things, Lily," I said, my voice trembling. "I learned from the best," she replied, tears glistening in her eyes. Ava's goodbye was more reserved but no less heartfelt. "I'm proud of you, Lily," she said softly. "Thanks, Mom," Lily replied, her words carrying a weight of acceptance. The drive home was quiet, each of us lost in our thoughts. When Clara dropped me off, she gave me a reassuring pat on the shoulder. "You've done an incredible job, Now it's time to take care of yourself." As I walked into the quiet apartment, I was struck by the stillness. For the first time in years, the space felt both empty and full. Empty without Lily's presence, but full of memories, laughter, and love. Over the following months, I adjusted to life without Lily at home. We spoke often, her updates about classes and new friends filling me with pride. Ava and I continued to navigate our complicated relationship, finding moments of connection amidst the lingering tension. One evening, as I sat by the window with a cup of tea, I reflected on the journey that had brought us here. The heartbreak, the challenges, the sacrifices, it had all led to this moment, a moment of peace and gratitude. Lily came home for the holidays, her presence filling the apartment with warmth and joy. We decorated the tree together, laughing as we untangled lights and reminisced about past Christmases. As we sat by the fire that evening, Lily looked at me and Ava, her expression thoughtful. "I've been thinking," she said. "Our family isn't perfect, but it's ours. And I wouldn't trade it for anything." Her words brought tears to my eyes and I reached for her hand. "Neither would I said. In the end, the resolution wasn't about erasing the pain of the past. It was about learning to live with it, to grow from it, and to embrace the messy, beautiful reality of family. We weren't perfect, but we were enough. And for the first time in a long time I felt at peace.